Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to News 3 Now live at 4 on this beautiful Tuesday afternoon.
Another nice one. Have you turned your AC back on yet?
Yeah,
you did.
Yeah.
No,
I did it this noon.
Well, you've got puppies, so they need, they need it to be cool.
Yeah, well, it's not that cool, but yeah, it was a nice break.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's going to heat up a little bit. We'll get to the weather in just a minute, but first, here's what's making news today. In Rock County, there's an issue with people leaving broken down cars on their property.
We'll hear more about that. Some people in Dodgeville say an intersection is dangerous and it's causing a lot of accidents. And
lawmakers on Capitol Hill are preparing for the much anticipated testimony from Special Counsel Robert Mueller. We'll share the details.
Let's take a look outside today. A little bit warmer than yesterday, but still plenty of sunshine. That sky is so blue.
Yeah, the corn is loving it. It's finally catching up. It got a late start, but not too bad. The weather words, and Dana Fulton's in the backyard, and the nice weather continues.
The nice weather stays with us. Of course, it's nice and sunny right now. Here's a live look from our WISC-TV sky cam here in Madison. There are a few clouds in the sky, and there is going to be a slight chance for some showers this evening, but not looking at any sort of severe weather, nor a great chance for us. Just looking at some isolated spots. Specifically right now, you notice towards Camp Douglas, we're seeing some rain. It's just north of the Dells, so we're seeing some rainfall get closer to the Dells and then creep into parts of Sauk County in the next hour or so. But it's nothing widespread, just some isolated shower spots. It'll be a good idea just to keep an eye to the sky if you do have any evening plans. Because we may have a few showers move on through. Right now it's about 79 in Madison, very comfortable outside, 80 in the Dells, and 79 also in Platteville. Our dew points, of course, still nice and low. We're close to 60 towards Boscobel, about 58 in Madison, so a very comfortable evening for us. And when it doesn't have those isolated showers around, then it's nice and sunny outside. A bit of a breeze still coming from the northwest. Anywhere from 6 to 12 miles per hour. Some areas getting just a little higher. Viroqua right now at about 14 miles per hour. Through the next several hours, of course, our temperatures are going to drop, but overall expecting pretty mild weather for us overnight. But we'll take a closer look at what's ahead, of course, for the next few days in just a few minutes. Right now, I want to take a look at what's going on along the roads. Here's the Beltline right at Monona Drive. Both east and westbound seem to be going along fairly smoothly right now. No major hiccups, just a few delays once you get on the eastbound side. Up until about John Nolan Drive, their speeds reduced down to about 30 miles per hour, so not quite at that 530 speed just yet. Still cruising along okay. Around Middleton and up in Wanakee, things look okay right now on the roads. It'll take you about 26 minutes to get from Janesville to the Beltline, 16 minutes to get from Sauk City to Middleton, and from Sun Prairie to downtown. I hope you're able to enjoy this evening. The good news, of course, the weather staying pretty similar to this for the next few days, but we are going to experience just a little bit of a warm up by the end of the week.
It is July.
It is July. It is summertime.
All right, Dana, we'll see you in a few minutes.
Thank you, Dana. This just into the Channel 3000 Alert Center. People are being allowed to go back to their homes after a gas leak was reported this afternoon in Baraboo. Alliant Energy says just before 2 p.m., an excavator struck a 2-inch pressure underground line on the corner of Vine and Maple Street. The gas is still off for many people in the area, and crews expect it to take several hours to restore. Stay with channel3000.com. We will keep you up to date on this developing story. Police in Edgerton are urging residents to get rid of broken down vehicles on their property.
This comes after several complaints from neighbors. Rock County reporter Adam Duxter joins us live from our bureau at the Janesville Gazette with what could happen next if these cars don't move. Adam?
Well, Mark and Susan, the neighbors that I talked to today say this is something that's been frustrating them for months. Broken down, unsightly cars that are falling apart either right next door or across the street. And now Edgerton police say they're going to do something about this, and that's why just yesterday they issued a warning that anyone who has cars like this could soon see their car towed or themselves getting a citation. And one neighbor I talked to today says it's about taking pride in where you live.
I think it's a matter of being considerate about your neighbors. You know, we all want to live in a nice neighborhood and look nice, and I find it a little disturbing, especially if you're renting, that you don't care.
Now, Lucas says she's called and complained to police in the past about this very issue and that she's happy something is being done now. And coming up tonight at 6, we'll explore how this is a larger part of a larger issue of trash in Rock County and how both Edgerton and the city of Janesville have been impacted by illegal dumping in the last 48 hours.
Adam Duxter live in Janesville. Adam, thank you.
The DOT says there have been at least 5 crashes at the same intersection of US 151 in Dodgeville in just the last few months. The intersection with County Road YZ is seeing much more traffic since the main highway interchange is under construction. There's a posted detour to go through Dodgeville, but instead, people are using the county road to access the highway, pulling out into traffic too early and crashing.
It's convenient for them to go out that way. You know, it seems to be quicker for them, so that's why they take that way out there instead of taking the longer route, the safer route, you know, to get onto the highway.
Randy's Auto Service and Towing has been to the scene 4 times since construction started in April, including this past Sunday to tow away these cars. The DOT says it's reaching out to local officials to discuss possible changes to the access of County YZ until the construction is completed in September.
The burglary crime unit in the Madison Police Department is asking for the public's help in identifying a man who broke into a City of Madison Parks building near Olbrich Botanical Gardens. Police say the man broke into the building Sunday around 9 p.m. and took a laptop. Anyone with information on this man's identity is asked to call Madison Area Crime Stoppers.
In national news, the Senate has passed a bill this afternoon to make sure the 911 Victim Compensation Fund stays funded for decades. It provides money to those who were injured during the 2001 terrorist attack and the aftermath. The House passed the bill earlier this month, and the president is expected to sign it.
President Trump and Democrats have struck a tentative 2-year budget deal. The budget compromise avoids a historic default but adds to America's rising debt. The 2-year deal suspends the debt ceiling, allowing the government to borrow more money and boost spending by $320 billion. The bill also increases overall government spending by a whopping $1.3 trillion next year.
It isn't everything we hoped for, but it got through the debt ceiling. That's so important. We're not going to default on American securities.
It's going to mean jobs for the American people. It's going to mean ladders up for the American people. It's going to mean some hope for the American people.
The House will vote on the bill Thursday, and Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell has promised to bring the measure to a vote before the August recess next week.
Former Special Counsel Robert Mueller is scheduled to testify for about 5 hours tomorrow in a much-anticipated hearing before 2 congressional committees about his report on Russian interference in the 2016 presidential election. Nicole Killian has more details from Capitol Hill.
The Trump administration is directing former special counsel Robert Mueller to limit what he testifies about on Capitol Hill tomorrow. The Justice Department sent Mueller a letter last night giving him strict instructions to stick to the boundaries of his report, and it says he cannot discuss the conduct of uncharged third parties beyond what's already in the report. The letter calls the testimony unnecessary. President Trump continues to call Mueller's investigation a phony witch hunt.
I saw Mueller has testified tomorrow again. How many times? Two and a half years. There's nothing here. There's no obstruction.
Democrats plan to highlight incidents in the Mueller report that they say show obstruction of justice.
There was sufficient evidence to prove the crime of obstruction. That's clear to me as a prosecutor. It's why more than 1,000 other prosecutors have said if this were their case, if he wasn't the president, any other person would be indicted.
Democratic sources say they don't expect a lot of new revelations to come out of tomorrow's hearing, but Democrats are banking on a lot of viewers who haven't read the report. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi sent a 6-page memo to House Democrats outlining findings of the Mueller report.
Whole truth and nothing but truth, so help you God.
Ahead of the hearing, FBI Director Christopher Wray testified on Capitol Hill, where Mueller's report was a hot topic.
There was an awful amount of work done by a huge team of professionals that resulted in a 450-something page report.
Director Wray declined to delve too far into the report's findings ahead of tomorrow's hearing. Nicole Killian, CBS News, Capitol Hill.
And both Democrats and Republicans are planning a social media blitz during tomorrow's hearing to put out their own spin. CBS will provide a special report of the hearings with CBS Evening News anchor Norah O'Donnell leading our coverage. It begins at 7:15 tomorrow morning. It may impact this program tomorrow.
That's right.
We're on standby.
We'll have to see how the day evolves. But still to come today at 4. Do you have a sweet tooth? How do you satisfy it?
Consumer Reports tells us how much is too much when it comes to sugar and sugar substitutes. That's when Live at 4 continues.
You're watching News 3 Now, live at 4.
Well, for those of you who love to unwind with some wine and cheese, there's a new option for you.
But you have to like Cheez-Its. Yes, Kellogg's has announced they're releasing a combo Cheez-It and wine box. There it is behind you, Susan. And they're teaming up with the box wine company House Wine to make it happen, but only for a limited time. You can find the new product on the House Wine website starting at 4 o'clock our time Thursday. It'll cost you $25.
So it's wine on one side and the Cheez-Its on the other?
It's great for a picnic. You're all set.
Yeah, well, here's another product you don't need. Pabst Blue Ribbon is venturing into new territory with a hard coffee. The company says the alcoholic vanilla iced coffee in a can is an attempt to appeal to consumers from a range of lifestyles.
That's in quotes, yes.
That's their quote. The malt beverage is made from Arabica and Robusto coffee beans and American milk. It contains 5% alcohol by volume and 30 milligrams of caffeine per 11-ounce can. For now, PBR hard coffee is available in limited supply in Florida, Georgia, Maine, New Jersey, and Pennsylvania. This is Pabst's first foray beyond beer, and it plans to release a PBR whiskey later this summer. This is going to be problematic if you're driving with this.
Well, maybe the coffee will counteract the alcohol and you'll just be a drunk in an earthquake, just straight. Some better than expected earnings reports sent stocks to near record territory. The Dow Industrials gained 177 points, closing at 27,349. The NASDAQ Composite Index added 47. The S&P 500 up 20. Well, it's no secret that eating too much sugar is bad for you. Many people are taking notice and trying to eat less of it.
But replacing sugar with a sugar substitute may actually have other health risks. Consumer Reports explains why limiting both is likely your best bet. Leah Linscheid shares the latest from Consumer Reports.
I think sugar's addictive, but that's not going to stop me.
Cinnabons.
Gummy bears, cheesecake.
Almond Hershey bars.
I love apple pie with ice cream, of course.
Sugar cravings are real, which can make eating a healthy diet a real challenge. Low on nutrition and high in calories, sugar can contribute to a host of health problems.
Type 2 diabetes and heart disease, and that's just for starters. Weight gain that's connected to sugar consumption, that can cause other health problems. We're talking about high blood pressure, stroke, even some cancers.
So what are the guidelines for how much sugar a healthy person can eat? Sugars found in fruits, milk, and other whole foods are generally fine, but the trouble really begins with added sugars. They are everywhere. Added sugars should make up 10% or less of your daily caloric intake. That's about 10 teaspoons on a 1,600 calorie a day diet. Many people turn to low-calorie sweeteners, but some research says they do little to help with weight loss and may actually promote weight gain. They've also been linked to possible heart problems and type 2 diabetes.
If you're trying to get yourself off sugar, substitutes can be a useful tool, but just for a limited amount of time.
Why? Your body can get used to a certain level of sweetness, whether it's from real sugar or sugar substitutes. Consumer Reports recommends limiting both. For News 3 Now, this is Leah Linscheid. Happy eating.
Thanks, Leah.
Leah. There's some good news ahead about how to keep better track of your sugar intake.
Next January, nutrition labels will change, listing both natural sugars and added sugars.
And that will be very helpful.
Yeah, it will. Well, still to come at 4, we have a preview of the Madison Magazine's annual Summer Taste event.
And then coming up tonight on News 3 Now at 5, we're continuing to ask questions about what exactly happened to cause an explosion at 2 substations in downtown Madison. Our Rose Schmidt will share what she found out tonight at 5.
Take a look at this. A 4-year-old Filipino boy has become a social media sensation after appearing in a series of cute videos showing him playing a homemade drum kit made by his father. Jose Mandea's mother filmed the videos showing her son's drumming skills. She said she started playing drums when he was just 2 years old. That's quite a set there.
He's very creative.
Yeah.
That's great.
Well, beat the drum for nice weather.
Yes, yes, things actually feel really nice outside. You can spend your evening outdoors yet again for most of the area. Now, we do have a slight chance for some isolated showers. Right now, Madison's dry, but up near Black River Falls, Camp Douglas area, we are seeing a few showers come on through. So we'll take a closer look at your radar the week ahead right after the break. Right now, things look okay outside, but as we look back over the day, it's been a really nice day actually out on the water. A lot of sunshine. Here's a time lapse from this morning with our Edgewater sky camera. Notice again, not a lot drifting on in with our sky. A few clouds coming through this afternoon. But here's a live look right now. Things have been in a very similar spot all day long. It's been a very pleasant day for us. The sunshine, the temperatures, the dew points all lining up just right. Now, through the rest of this evening, we may see a few isolated showers slide on through. Right now, the rain close to Camp Douglas, but traveling south near the Dells. We may see a few more showers enter into Sauk County, but overall, most of the area will stay dry tonight. Just a good idea to keep an eye to the sky if you have any evening plans right now, especially if you're in Sauk County, as those showers do pull further southeast. Just a little bit of a line for us. We're seeing some lightning north of 90, but nothing south of 90 with that lightning just yet. High pressure right now ridging through the area. We don't have any fronts. Similar story to yesterday. Any fronts off to the west. That high pressure is going to continue to keep us mostly clear, pretty quiet and pretty comfortable with our temperatures. We still have that breeze coming from the northwest. It is keeping things pretty cool outside as far as where we were at last week comparatively. But we're seeing temperatures fairly close to average. So it's a pretty nice afternoon. Right now we're sitting at 79 in Madison and in Dubuque, 85 in La Crosse, just a little bit warmer, but 74 in Milwaukee. So everybody's sitting close to average with those dew points, of course, in the upper 50s or close to 60. And that's really right where we would like to see them right now. If they climb up any more, then it starts to get a little more humid. Now, for your Wednesday, plan on yet again a mostly sunny sky. We're all looking at a little bit of a chance for some isolated showers. Again, for Wednesday afternoon, just a slight chance for us, not a great chance, especially up towards the Green Bay and Fond du Lac area. Heading into Thursday, again, we're going to continue that trend, of course, of seeing a mostly clear sky. Our high pressure, though, starting to shift and pull a little east, so we see a shift in our wind direction. Notice becoming more of a southerly flow by Thursday afternoon. And that means our temperatures are going to climb up a little more for Thursday and for Friday. And then by Friday afternoon, we are looking at our humidity, our heat index climbing up for that and heading into the weekend. So it will be just a little bit of a bump up, unfortunately. Heat index readings for your Wednesday will stay in the mid to low 80s. And then by Thursday, we'll be closer to the mid 80s for our heat index readings. So that's, of course, just indicative of a little bit of an increase in our moisture. Not a big jump, but just a little bit. Temperatures so far for July have been a little warm. As we all know, we've had several days in a row, a whole week actually, of being well above average. And the few days where we've been just a little bit below average have only been a degree or two below average. So it's been a very warm month. Both on the 6th and the 9th, we were actually right where we should be. So we're about 4.5 degrees above where we should be following several months of being below average. It'll help us even out just a little bit by the end of the year. But of course, there's still quite a bit of July left. So we may see that number flex around just a little bit more, especially as today will stay below average with our afternoon highs, but we do see a little bit of an increase in our temperatures heading towards the weekend. Overnight low of about 60 in Madison. Again, a mostly clear sky and pretty pleasant outside. Again, heading into tomorrow morning. And then by tomorrow afternoon, we'll be in the low 80s, so we'll be just a little warmer outside. Still very pleasant, though, and still mostly sunny. A slight chance for an isolated shower on Wednesday evening. By Thursday, we're looking at a dry sky, but it is going to be warmer in the mid 80s for Thursday, with those heat index readings in the mid to upper 80s for Thursday and Friday. Friday and Saturday, our temperatures continuing to climb. Heat index readings start to get closer to 90 by Saturday and Sunday. Saturday, we get to enjoy a partly sunny sky. Overnight, some shower chances will start to build in. They stay with us through Sunday and Monday. Those thunderstorm and shower chances will bring a little more measurable precipitation for us, but temperatures heading into next week should hug pretty close to average. We aren't expecting any major drops or major jumps in our temperatures. Pretty steady into July. That's a quick look at your forecast.
And lower humidity, that's the good thing.
Yeah, it looks great.
All right, thank you, Dana.
And that weather is going to be perfect for a great way to spend a summer evening in Madison that's coming up in 2 weeks.
Madison Magazine's 8th annual Top Shelf Summer Taste is Monday, August 5th on the outdoor patio of the Nightingale.
Joining us today are Rachel Tachi from Madison Magazine and J.D. Duncan from North and South Seafood and Smokehouse. Hi, guys. Welcome to you both.
Thanks for having us.
The smokehouse part of it, I think, today.
We are, yes,
We'll get to that in a minute.
Yeah, we'll talk about that in just a second. But Rachel, tell us about the annual summer taste.
It's a great event. It's on the water at Nightingale. It's Monday, August 5th from 6 to 9 for only $30. Guests can come and enjoy. They get a complimentary sampling glass. They get to listen to awesome live music, and they get to sample from over 30 different amazing vendors, including local spirits, distillery companies, breweries, wineries, and amazing food and dessert companies as well, all local and regional.
So you fill up on this? I mean, it'll be enough to eat and drink?
Oh, yeah, 100%. You will leave feeling stuffed. It is a sampling event. You know, we don't want people to overindulge and overconsume, but everybody will leave having a great taste of all of the amazing summer spirits and amazing great local produce and food that the area has to offer for only $30, which is really amazing. And it's just a great way to also meet the makers, right? Which is why we have North and South Seafood and Smokehouse here. They are our sponsor of this event, and they're going to have just an amazing display at the event. But it's a great time to interact, taste, get to experience summer on the water, and for only $30.
Yeah, that's a good deal.
Great location.
So great.
So, JD, tell us a little bit about your business and what you brought for us today.
So what we brought today is our beef brisket. And what we're going to do is we're going to just kind of show you how to kind of prep it real quick and then the end product itself.
Okay.
A little bit about North and South. We've been around for about 3.5 years now. It used to be originally Joey's Seafood and Grill. The partners up there, Keith and Aaron Stace, fantastic partners of ours. And so what they did is they rebranded about 3.5 years ago, and we wanted to bring some barbecue. Aaron was from the South down in Texas. Keith's from the North with the seafood. So here we are with a little bit of that.
That's
And
great.
Your second location now in DeForest?
Second location in DeForest, you know, and we have a third location maybe on the books. Follow us on our Facebook page and stuff like that, and we'll see what ends up.
So what's the secret of making this?
Secret of making our beef brisket is here it is. This is what it starts with. About 15 pounds once it's trimmed down and everything. And it comes out at about 8 pounds after it's smoked.
Now,
So,
what part of the animal is the brisket?
so this is your front brisket, your front part of the chest of the cow itself. So what we do is we kind of start out with some of our seasonings here. It's a blend of all of our seasonings. We do onion powder, paprika, and all that kind of stuff in there. Have some other secret seasonings, and we finish it off with some black pepper, and then we throw it in the smoker for about 12 hours. So we do that for 225, and then it comes out with this wonderful chunk of goodness here that we call beef brisket. And then what we do is we'll kind of just slice that up for you.
You put sauce on it before or after?
See, you can put sauce on it. It's a dry rub.
Okay.
So after, if you want to put sauce on it, you're more than welcome to. Personally, I don't think our brisket needs sauce, but a lot of people love to put it on anyway. We do make our homemade sauces in-house and everything as well.
Now, will you be making this at the Summer Taste?
This is going to be up at the Summer Taste. We might have a couple other things up there as well. But I'm sure if you get a little bit of ours, you might have to come back and try a little bit more. So.
And what's the percentage of smoke and seafood at your restaurants?
So I'd say it's probably around a 60 to 40 blend, depending on which restaurant's out. You know, we do have a great fish fry on Friday nights, and people still love that, especially in Wisconsin. But when it comes to smokehouse and stuff like that, it's really catching on in the Midwest. So people are really starting to get a hold of it and love to barbecue.
Now, is there a fat cap on the brisket? Do you have to take that off, or
There is. So if you look at the brisket right here, you can see that we've trimmed this brisket already. There was a good amount of fat on there that you want to trim it down, but you don't want to trim too much. When it comes to a brisket, you want to make sure that you leave some of that on there, because when you smoke it for that long period of time, especially with the brisket, it can be a little tougher of a meat. That fat kind of just absorbs in there and it makes it nice and tender.
Why don't you finish this?
Well, let's just kind of cut that open there, and what you can see in there is a nice, beautiful, juicy chunk there, and then we'll just turn that around. This is the flat of the brisket, and this is the point. So.
And this is something people aren't going to make at home generally.
They can. No, they can.
It's a commitment.
It is a commitment, you know, and I mean, it's turned into like a great hobby, barbecuing and smoking meats and stuff like that. There's a lot of like good smokers out there and stuff that people can do it at home. So we try to do it at the restaurant and do it to the best of our ability.
So just one of the things people can try.
Yes, definitely.
Rachel, how do people get tickets?
Sure, so you'll go to MadisonMagazineExperience.com and you can just go, click on the link and buy tickets. And we're still selling, we will sell a limited edition at the door, so it's best to get yours in advance.
August 5th, Monday nights?
That's right.
At the Naughty Gal.
That's right.
And thank you for sponsoring.
Absolutely, thank you for having us.
Can you cut off a little piece of that?
Absolutely, I can.
JD, thank you. Rachel, thank you. There's more at 4. Iowa may have its field of dreams.
But when we come back, California has a field of lights. We'll take you to this spectacular art installation when Live at 4 continues.
Not good.
I believe that's a live picture of the Henry Vila Zoo this afternoon.
It's not California.
No, not yet. But that's coming up. And this is something that is going to turn into a bucket list item for people.
I think so.
I think it certainly will be for me. A field of lights is set in a hillside in the central California city of Paso de Robles. It's called, appropriately enough, Field of Lights.
15 acres filled with tiny light bulbs of vibrant colors. Jamie Yuccas takes us inside what makes this spot in America beautiful.
Nature's beauty is highlighted with a little help from technology. More than 58,000 solar-powered spheres shimmer and shine, winding through the fields in Paso Robles.
My feeling is that this is magic.
Well, the landscape is magic.
This mesmerizing installation is the work of British artist Bruce Monroe.
All I'd say to everybody is keep looking at nature, and all the answers are there for us to discover.
The discovery begins in the early evening as visitors gather for food and wine and a stroll through the field, first in daylight. Then, as the sun goes down, the experience changes.
It's what the world needs right now. You see all the beautiful light and potential and possibility.
The idea came to light a world away in Uluru, Australia, when Monroe visited back in 1992. Near this ancient sandstone considered sacred to the indigenous peoples, Monroe experienced a kind of revelation.
I felt that there was this sort of energy coming out of the floor of the desert. That's when I realized that how you feel and expressing how you feel is really a very important part of art.
After the death of his father and turning 40, Monroe felt the need to create something more. So he bought a home in England with a field behind it and refinanced it in order to build his first field of light.
I assume that was kind of a difficult discussion with your wife.
There wasn't really a discussion at the time. And I promise you, I've never done this before or since. My wife wasn't best pleased when she saw the field sort of sporting these flowers of light, and she looked into the heavens and thought, oh my God, what's he done? So I did say I'm sorry, and she's forgiven me.
That's good. You're still married.
We're still married, yeah.
He went back to Uluru to create the first large-scale field of light, which put him on the map as an artist. Over the last 15 years, he's created whimsical scenes, including a blue moon, a sparkling sea of CDs, even lollipops of light. Here at Sensorio in Central California, imaginations are running wild.
Lights just pop out so well together. I kind of saw emotions.
Emotions?
Yeah.
Like what?
Blue sad, orange is frustrated, red is angry, pink is in love. Is that an emotion? We're children.
The Field of Light, a massive collection of fiber optic cables, is meant to enhance the natural surroundings. It's art that touches the soul.
Might solve a few problems in the world if we did a bit more of this.
And more of this is what Monroe is ready to do. Lighten up the world with a memorable glow.
This is located halfway between Los Angeles and San Francisco, so it's about a 3 to 3.5 hour drive from either location. But that didn't stop people from Minnesota or London from coming here when we visited a couple weeks ago. If you'd like to come, it's open Wednesdays through Sundays until about January the 5th. Jamie Yuccas, CBS News, Paso Robles, California.
We should go.
I want to see
that.
Go. Isn't that spectacular?
It is unbelievable.
Yeah, I want to see that. Put one more thing on the list.
Got till January 5th.
Yeah.
Well, still to come at 4. Do your kids make you happy? Well, probably.
But the cost of raising them takes some of the joy out of parenting. We're going to talk about whether or not having children makes you happier with author and UW professor Christine Whalen when we come back.
now things do look okay on the roads. That's always good news. Looking at the Beltline at Monona Drive, both east and westbound seem to be okay. Even the exits seem to be looking just fine. The on-ramps not too bad either. A lot of construction, of course, in Rock County. In downtown, we have some construction also for Madison. The eastbound lane of the Beltline before Fish Hatchery Road is where we're seeing the slowest spots right now. Those speeds down to about 15 miles per hour. Also seeing a little bit of a slow stretch there just before Seminole Highway. Westbound side actually doesn't look too bad right now. And then on the Isthmus, a lot of slowing down. A lot of brake lights popping up right now. No accidents to report, though. Middleton, not looking too bad. Up towards Waunakee, we are seeing a few little slowdowns there around 113 if you're heading in that direction. It'll take you about 26 minutes to get from Janesville to the Beltline, 16 minutes to get from Sauk City to Middleton, and from Sun Prairie to downtown will take you about 19 minutes this evening. That's a quick look at traffic.
All right, Jen, thank you. This police chase in Southern California could have been taken from the pages of a comic book. Cops in Orange County were after a man dressed like the Joker. Police say the man was driving recklessly, even taunted them from the sunroof of his car. The chase ended on Venice Beach, with the man continuing to clown around in the sand. After police threatened to tase him, this clown surrendered. California.
Yeah. Well, here's a question for you. Does having children make people happier?
Most research from the past 2 decades has suggested parents are slightly less happy than those who don't have kids, who have less pull on their time and resources.
But new research finds an important twist in that. It's not the kids, it's the cost of raising them. UW-Madison professor and author, our regular guest, Christine Whelan, is back with us. Christine, good to see you.
Good to be back.
This is fascinating. Basically, it's having children makes people happier if you can afford it.
Yeah,
Are we reading that right?
So the long-standing kind of conventional wisdom in social science was that a couple starts out quite happy and then takes a major dip in happiness at the birth of the first child and doesn't really fully recover until the kids are out of the house. But now but then of course we asked, well then why do people have kids? If we know that it's going to make us, less happy, why do we do it? There had to be a kind of confounding issue there. And so now new research is showing that children bring us a lot of happiness. As long as we can afford to raise them, and as long as we can juggle that work-life balance that often doesn't even exist for most families.
Does that ever come into the equation, though? People thinking of starting a family, can we afford it? No. Okay, we're going to wait. Is that realistic?
Yes, increasingly it does. So increasingly we're seeing couples wait longer to get married to make sure that they're financially solvent, and then make decisions about children based on economic factors. You see a lot of fluctuation with the birth rates based on that. Yet, of course, then when you have the children, sometimes we underestimate how much work they're going to be, and we also don't often think about the really big sticker cost of raising kids.
Which
for an
gets
average,
more expensive all the time.
It is. It's about $250,000, almost $250,000 for a middle-class family to raise a child from birth to 18, and that doesn't even include college.
There's different kinds of happiness, too, right?
Indeed. So there's 2 kinds of happiness, according to Aristotle, right? He talks about hedonic happiness and eudaimonic happiness. So hedonic happiness is happiness in the moment, things that really feel good and are just fun.
Like eating brisket.
Like eating brisket. I can't wait to get my slice. That will be hedonic joy, right? But then there's eudaimonic happiness. And eudaimonic happiness is that sense of a life well lived, and that you've sacrificed and you've built the relationships and really put a lot of effort into a life of meaning, right? Now, children can bring a lot of hedonic happiness in the moment here and there, but mostly having kids, raising a family is a eudaimonic effort. So you sit around the Thanksgiving table and you look around and you say, yes, I was probably just having a fight with them in the kitchen a minute before, but now I realize we're all around the table and we are a family. We've worked really hard to get here.
So what do you think is the moral of this research? What is the question that it leaves you with, that you need to factor in whether you can afford to have kids before you have them?
Yeah, and a lot of this research is coming out of Europe and Italy and France, and they're saying, listen, it's all about social services, and it's all about providing people with the support that they need, especially in places like Italy where they're trying to increase the birth rate. There's a wonderful researcher, Jennifer Glass, at the Council of Contemporary Families, a colleague of mine, and she's showing the same thing here in the United States. So really, it's about making sure that you have a support system. It's about changing our laws a little bit and getting some paid family leave, for example. And it's also about recognizing the costs, both in terms of time and money, that the kids are going to put on and a strain on the relationship, and trying to minimize that so you can enjoy all those joyful moments too.
Are the second and third children, if there are some, are they cheaper than the $280? Because
nope.
No,
they're not.
hand-me-downs.
They're not. Well, you know what? You can. So I had this with my daughters. I thought that there would be hand-me-downs, but they ended up being the same size. So no, you know, I don't get economies of scale.
There's no.
I am really working
discount.
on that. No,
no
there is
discount
no
for multiple kids.
And what about different kinds of parents? Did the research look at single parents, step parents?
Yes. So it is. It gets much more complicated with more complicated parenting structures, right? So this is for kids who are the biological kids of both the parents.
Okay.
And that's what this research is looking at. And the news gets even more complicated and difficult when you have blended families and single moms. And life is challenging, but these children they bring us such joy. And so we want to kind of shatter that conventional wisdom that kids are the problem. In fact, it's all of the stressors around them. And when we mitigate that, maybe we can really embrace the joy of family life even more.
And I think women don't talk enough about how hard it is in the beginning. It is such a miracle and such a blessing, but it is so hard, and women are afraid to talk about that because, I don't know, maybe you feel like it makes you
guilty.
Or makes you look weak or something.
And actually, it's women who take the biggest happiness hit when with children, much more so than men. And so, yes, we all need to talk about it. We have to have more of a national conversation, and a national conversation about how to fix it, because really this is not only an individual problem, this is a larger societal problem that we need to look at.
The research is fascinating.
Yeah, interesting
really
research. Christine, thanks for being with us today.
Great to see you.
Thank you so much.
We'll see you next time.
I will see you soon.
We'll have a final check of your forecast coming up.
All right, ready to roll playback.
Another beautiful evening.
Yeah, it's fantastic outside for grilling out, eating brisket, whatever you want to do this evening.
The brisket's a big hit.
The brisket's a big hit. I know Mark was telling me I had some on my face. We're getting better. We're getting cleaned up. One of these days, I'll figure out how to use a napkin. So right now, looking at our WISC-TV sky cam, you can see a few clouds in the sky. It's kind of a little bit darker to the north as we do have some showers starting to drift down. Most of the area will stay dry tonight, but right now we do have a little bit of rain in Sauk County, just west of the Dells and now south of Camp Douglas. There's also some lightning there, so there is a little bit of thunderstorm activity shifting down. So we do have this slight chance for showers. They're really going to be hit or miss. They're traveling south right now, so Iowa County and then, of course, the western edge of Dane County likely going to see rain. rain here within the next hour. Not bringing a lot of accumulation, just enough that might actually cool you down quite a bit. Camp Douglas at 70 degrees. They were closer to 80 just a few hours ago. And the Dells were at about 76 and 79 right now in Madison. Our dew points, of course, still close to 60, which means it's quite comfortable outside. If you do have any plans for the evening, as long as you keep an eye out for the showers, you should be all good to go. In the next several days, actually, our temperatures are going to stay pretty comfortable. And it's been a nice change of pace to get back to what July should feel like, as opposed to a mean, grumpy effect from summer like last week.
Yeah, that humidity was something else.
A little aggressive, but now it's a little nicer outside, of course.
Good stuff.
Thank you, Dana.
All right, thanks, Dana.
Tomorrow here on Live Before, we'll preview this weekend's 48-hour film festival in Madison.
And we'll see how scientists are helping sturgeon make a comeback throughout the United States, including right here in Wisconsin. That's coming up tomorrow on Live at 4. In today's final touch.